A black woman sits alone in a sleek corporate lobby, back straight, portfolio clutched tight, dressed with quiet power. She's been there for hours. No one greets her. No one offers help. Eyes glance past her like she's furniture, some with pity, most with quiet contempt. Every laugh from the front desk, every snide whisper feels like a slap wrapped in politeness. By hour 5, her strength begins to fade. She doesn't mean to drift off, but exhaustion has a way of winning. Her head leans gently to one side, her eyes closed, her breath slow. Even dignity needs to rest. Across the room, a few employees notice. They snicker. One smirks behind a coffee cup. Another snaps a quick photo. Guess she got tired of trying. Their laughter is soft but sharp. What they don't see coming is the shift, because the moment she opens her eyes, everything will change. Stick around. This story doesn't just inspire, it hits. If you believe in resilience, injustice, and earned power, hit subscribe. Drop a comment. Where are you watching from? Because some stories don't end quietly. They echo. The morning sun cuts through Raleigh's skyline, bathing the glass tower of Trionics Global in a golden sheen. Sharon Harris steps out of her modest sedan, her navy blazer catching the light like armor forged for battle. At 34, she's a public health prodigy, her name whispered in conference halls for revolutionizing community care. Today, she's here for a leadership role, a chance to shape biotech policy on a global stage. Her portfolio, dense with charts and proposals, is more than a binder. It's muscle memory. Weeks of preparation pulse in her veins, late nights poring over Trionics' mission, mock interviews with her mentor, Dr. Green, and index cards scrawled with every possible question. Sharon's heels click against the pavement, each step a metronome of purpose. She's early, 15 minutes, as her mother always taught her. Early is on time, and on time is late. Inside, the lobby is a cathedral of ambition. Marble floors gleam. Under a chandelier's crystalline glow, the air thick with the scent of fresh coffee and polished leather. Executives in tailored suits glide past, their laughter bouncing off glass walls. Sharon's heart thumps, not with fear, but with the electric hum of possibility. She adjusts her silk scarf, a gift from her grandmother. Its soft crimson a quiet rebellion against the lobby's sterile palette. At the front desk, a receptionist, Tracy, her name tag reads, taps at a keyboard, her acrylic nails clicking, like a countdown. "Hi," Sharon says, her voice warm but firm. "I'm Sharon Harris. I have a 7 a.m. with Jessica Brandt." Tracy's eyes flicker up, then back to her screen. "ID, please," she says, her tone flat as the marble beneath. "Them." Sharon slides her driver's license across the counter, her smile unwavering. Tracy squints, holding the card like it's a puzzle piece that doesn't fit. "Sit over there," Tracy says, pointing to a row of leather chairs by a towering window. No offer of water, no welcoming nod, just a curt dismissal. Sharon nods, her heels sinking into the plush carpet as she crosses the lobby. She settles into a chair, her portfolio balanced on her lap like a shield. Through the glass, Raleigh hums, cars weaving, pedestrians hustling, but inside, time feels suspended. Sharon's fingers graze the portfolio's edge, her mind replaying. Her opening pitch, data-driven equity in healthcare, a vision Trionics can't ignore. She's ready. She has to be. Yet a whisper of doubt creeps in, soft but insistent. "Don't make anyone uncomfortable," she tells herself, echoing her mother's advice from childhood in Durham. "Make them see you're undeniable." Across the lobby, 2 white men in pinstripe suits breeze through the doors. Tracy leaps up, her smile sudden and bright. "Mr. Thompson, coffee?" she chirps, ushering them toward an elevator without. A glance at their IDs. Sharon's stomach twists, a familiar pang she's learned to swallow. She shifts in her seat, her scarf brushing her neck like a reminder of who she is. Maybe they're regulars, she thinks. Maybe it's nothing. But the thought sits heavy, a pebble in her polished heel. She checks her phone. 6:50 a.m., 10 minutes to go. Her pulse steadies as she reviews her notes, each statistic a brick in the fortress of her confidence. Sharon Harris doesn't just belong here. She's built for this moment. Little does she know the lobby's gleaming facade hides a test far tougher than any interview question. For now, she sits poised, her hope aflame no one can see. The Trionics global lobby hums with the pulse of power, phones trilling softly, the clink of coffee cups, the rustle of crisp suits brushing past. But for Sharon Harris, seated in her leather chair, it's as if she's been carved out of the scene. A statue no one bothers to notice. Her portfolio rests on her lap, its weight a reminder of the weeks she poured into this moment. The clock above the front desk ticks past 7 a.m., her appointed hour with Jessica Brandt, and still no call comes. Sharon's fingers trace the edge of her crimson scarf, her grandmother's gift, its soft weave grounding her as the minutes pass. She breathes deeply, willing her pulse to steady. "Stay calm," she whispers to herself, her mother's voice echoing from childhood. "Don't give them a reason to doubt you." Tracy, the receptionist, sits behind the desk, her acrylic nails clicking like a metronome of indifference. Sharon catches her eye, offering a polite smile, but Tracy's gaze slides away, landing instead on a delivery man dropping off a package. "Thanks, Dave," Tracy chirps, her warmth reserved for someone else. Sharon shifts, her heels pressing into the carpet. She checks her phone, 7:15. A flicker of unease stirs, but she pushes it down. Meetings run late. Important people are busy. She opens her portfolio, scanning her notes, statistics on healthcare disparities, proposals for Trionics' global outreach. Each word is a brick in her fortress of confidence, yet the lobby's chill seeps through the cracks. A young, white woman in a pencil skirt hurries through the glass doors, her briefcase swinging. "Late again, Ms. Harper," Tracy teases, her smile wide as she waves her toward the elevators. No ID check, no delay. Sharon's stomach twists, the pebble of doubt from earlier now a stone. She stands, smoothing her blazer, and approaches the desk, her steps measured. "Excuse me," she says, her voice warm but firm. "Just checking if Ms. Brandt is still available." Tracy looks up, her eyes narrowing for a split second, as if Sharon's presence is an interruption. "She's on a call," Tracy says, her tone clipped. "Very busy, wait there, or, if there's another seat somewhere, that'd be easier." The words land like a subtle shove, their meaning clear. "You're in the way." Sharon's jaw tightens, but she nods, returning to her chair. Easier for who, she wonders, her fingers curling around her portfolio. The lobby buzzes on, oblivious. Two men in charcoal suits stride in, their laughter loud, their briefcases monogrammed. Tracy leaps up, her smile dazzling. "Mr. Collins, Mr. Reed, coffee, water?" She ushers them through a side door, her voice trailing like a hostess at Gala. Sharon watches, her chest tightening. No ID checks for them, no curt dismissals. She's not invisible. She's being erased, her presence a silent inconvenience. At 7:30, she checks her phone again, the screen blurring as her thoughts race. Is it her suit, her scarf, her skin? The question burns, one she's faced too many times in rooms like this. She pushes it away, but it clings like damp air. Tracy's voice cuts through, sharp and low, as she whispers to a colleague at the desk. "She's still here," Tracy says, her eyes flicking toward Sharon. No idea why she's waiting. The colleague smirks, their laughter a blade slicing the air. Sharon's ears burn, but she keeps her face composed, her shoulders squared. She won't squirm. She won't give them the satisfaction. Her mother's words rise again. "Be twice as good, baby, to get half as far." She opens her portfolio, pretending to read, but it's a shield against the lobby's indifference. The clock ticks to 7:45, each second heavier than the last. Sharon's heels feel like anchors, her back stiff against the chair's unyielding frame. A janitor shuffles past, his cart rattling. Their eyes meet briefly, a nod of quiet recognition between two people used to being overlooked. Sharon offers a small smile, then lowers her gaze. She's not just waiting for Jessica Brandt, She's waiting to be seen. At 7:50, Tracy picks up the phone, her voice a murmur. Sharon's heart lifts, then sinks as Tracy hangs up without a glance. "Stay professional," Sharon whispers, her mantra now a lifeline. The lobby's gleam feels like a lie, its polished surfaces reflecting everyone but her. She's not angry, not yet, but something stirs, a slow burn beneath her polished exterior. Sharon Harris is still here, and she's not going anywhere. The gleaming lobby is a pressure cooker, its polished sheen masking a simmer of disdain. Sharon Harris sits rigid, her portfolio a lifeline in her lap, her crimson scarf a defiant splash against the sterile gray of her chair. An hour has bled, away since her 8 a.m. appointment, each tick of the clock a needle in her resolve. The air feels heavier now, thick with the weight of being unseen. Tracy, the receptionist, lounges behind her desk, her acrylic nails tapping a rhythm of apathy. Sharon's eyes trace the chandelier's prisms, their light fracturing across the marble floor, a cruel mirror to her splintering patience. She's not just waiting, she's being tested, her presence a silent challenge to the lobby's unspoken rules. Her mother's voice hums in her mind. "Be twice as good, baby, to get half as far." Sharon straightens, her jaw set. She's not leaving. The glass doors hiss open and a woman strides in, her presence slicing through the lobby's hum like a blade. Jessica Brandt, regional manager, moves with the confidence of someone who owns the air she breathes. Her blonde hair is knotted in a flawless bun, her tailored black suit sharp enough to cut glass. Her eyes, cold and assessing, sweep the room, landing on Sharon for a fleeting moment before sliding away, as if Sharon were a smudge on the pristine marble. Jessica leans over Tracy's desk, her voice a low hiss, but the words carry, sharp and deliberate. "Who's this girl? Looks like a delivery driver." Sharon's breath catches, each syllable a dagger. Her fingers dig into her portfolio, the leather creaking under her grip. Tracy smirks, her eyes flicking to Sharon with a glint of malice. The lobby seems to shrink, its walls closing in, every sound muffled except the thud of Sharon's heartbeat. Jessica turns, her gaze now fixed on Sharon, but it's not recognition, it's judgment. She crosses the room, her heels clicking like a countdown to confrontation. "You don't have an appointment with me," Jessica says, her voice ice cold, each word laced with contempt. "We're swamped. Sit there if you want, but frankly, this environment might not suit you." She pauses, her lips curling into a smile that's more blade than warmth. "Don't think a few community center awards qualify you for trionics." The words land like a slap, their venom unmistakable. Sharon's ears burn, her chest tightening as if the air itself has turned against her. Across the lobby, a young intern, Amari, freezes, his eyes wide with secondhand shame. Tracy's smirk widens, her pen tapping the desk in quiet triumph. The other occupants, executives, visitors, avert their gazes, their silence a complicit shroud. Sharon's mind races, a storm of anger and restraint. She wants to stand, to fire back, to dismantle Jessica's arrogance with the data in her portfolio, the years of work that outshine every name in this room. But her mother's words anchor her. "Don't give them a reason to dismiss you." She sits taller, her face a mask of composure, her eyes locked on Jessica's. The silence between them crackles, a battlefield of unspoken defiance. Jessica's smile falters just for a second, as if Sharon's steady gaze is a mirror she can't escape. But she recovers, pointing a manicured finger. "Kohong kolich voi toi," she says, switching to a language Sharon doesn't speak as if to underline her exclusion. "Chung toi rat ban, ngoi jo cho neu tich, kong kong ti, kole moi trong nai kong." Fu hop. The words, though foreign, carry the same venom, their meaning clear in Jessica's sneer. Sharon hears every word, her fluency in subtext honed by years of navigating rooms like this. Her knuckles whiten against her portfolio, but her expression doesn't waver. She's not just a candidate, she's Sharon. She's not here to impress Jessica Brandt. She's here to claim her place, and no amount of venom can erase her worth. Amari shifts uncomfortably, his eyes darting to Sharon, then away, as if afraid to be caught caring. A janitor in the corner pauses his cart, his glance fleeting but human, a quiet nod of solidarity. Sharon's scarf brushes her neck, a reminder. Of her grandmother's strength, her mother's lessons. She won't break. Not here, not now. The clock hits 8 a.m., an hour of waiting transformed into a crucible. Jessica turns away, dismissing Sharon with a flick of her wrist, striding toward the elevators. Tracy resumes her typing, the smirk never leaving her face. Sharon's pulse thunders, but her resolve hardens. She's not invisible. She's not a delivery driver. She's Sharon Harris, and this lobby, this moment won't define her. The storm inside her brews, not anger but something fiercer, certainty. She belongs here, and she's not done fighting. The marble atrium feels like a glass cage, its gleaming surfaces trapping Sharon Harris in a spotlight of solitude. 90 minutes have bled into her weight, each second a weight pressing against her chest. Her navy blazer, once a symbol of strength, now feels like a costume in a play where she's the only one without lines. The portfolio on her lap is heavy, with dreams, data, proposals, years of grit. But it can't shield her from the sting of Jessica Brandt's words. Delivery driver, community center awards. Sharon's fingers clutch her crimson scarf, its soft weave a tether to her grandmother's resilience. But even that feels fragile now. The chandelier above casts fractured light across the marble, mirroring the cracks in her composure. She sits straighter, her face a mask of calm, but inside a storm brews. Anger, shame, exhaustion, all tangled in a knot she can't name. The lobby hums with indifference. Tracy, the receptionist, laughs softly with a colleague, their whispers slicing through the air like paper cuts. Across the room, executives clink coffee mugs, their chatter a distant hum, as if Sharon's existence is a footnote they've skipped. Her heels dig into the carpet, anchoring her against the urge to flee. Should she walk out? Save the scraps of her dignity? The thought gnaws, but leaving feels like surrender, and Sharon Harris doesn't surrender. Not after years of outworking, outsmarting, outlasting every room that tried to shrink her. Her mother's voice echoes, "You're twice as good, baby, to get half as far." But here, in this sterile cathedral of ambition, good feels like a currency no one accepts. A cart rattles nearby and Sharon glances up. Miguel, the security guard, older, with gray streaks in his hair, pushes cleaning supplies across the floor. His eyes meet hers, not with pity, but with a quiet knowing, a nod between two people who've waited too long to be seen. "Keep your head up," his glance seems to say, and Sharon's throat tightens. She offers a faint smile, then looks away, afraid her eyes might betray the heat building behind them. She won't cry, not here, not now. But the weight of being dismissed and reduced to a stereotype presses harder. Her fingers tremble as she adjusts her scarf, her professional armor fraying at the seams. A young man hurries past, Amari, the intern, his lanyard swinging. His dark skin catches the light, and for a moment their eyes lock. There's a flicker of understanding, a shared language of navigating spaces like this. He slows, as if to speak, but Tracy's glare cuts across the lobby like a whip. Amari's shoulders slump, and he moves on, his silence a wound they both feel. Sharon's chest aches not just for herself, but for every moment they've both swallowed to survive. The lobby's gleam feels like a lie, its polished surfaces reflecting everyone but them. She's not just waiting for a meeting, she's waiting for her worth to be acknowledged, and the silence is deafening. Sharon pulls out her phone, her thumb hovering over the calendar app. Cancel the meeting. Walk away. The temptation is a siren call, promising relief from this crucible. But then she scrolls to her contacts, landing on Dr. Green, her mentor from grad school. Her finger hesitates, then presses call. The line crackles, and Dr. Green's voice, warm and steady, breaks through. "Sharon, you okay?" Sharon exhales, her voice low to keep Tracy's prying ears at bay. "I'm still waiting," she says, the words heavy. "They're making me feel small." Dr. Green's pause is brief, but her response is firm. You're enough, Sharon. You've always been enough. Don't let their blindness dim your light. The words are a lifeline, pulling Sharon back from the edge. She nods, though Dr. Green can't see, her resolve hardening like steel in a forge. The clock ticks to 8:30 a.m. The lobbies buzz, a cruel contrast to Sharon's isolation. Tracy answers a call, her voice bright for someone else, while Sharon sits unseen, a shadow in a room of light. Her portfolio feels heavier now, not with dreams, but with the weight of proving herself. Yet Dr. Green's words echo, mingling, with her mother's, her grandmother's. Sharon adjusts her blazer, her scarf, and her posture. She's not small, she's not invisible. She's Sharon Harris, and this moment, this humiliation, won't break her. The storm inside her shifts, not to anger but to clarity. She's here for a reason, and she'll wait as long as it takes. The waiting area is a crucible of silence. Its marble and glass reflecting a world that has overlooked Sharon Harris for nearly 2 hours. Her navy blazer is a battle-worn shield, her crimson scarf a fading ember of hope. The portfolio on her lap, heavy with her dreams and data, feels like an anchor now, tethering her to a chair that's become a throne of endurance. The clock ticks past 8:50 a.m., each second a hammer against her resolve. Tracy, the receptionist, flips through a E magazine, her indifference a wall Sharon can't breach. Across the room, Amari, the intern, avoids her gaze, his earlier flicker of empathy snuffed out by the lobby's unspoken rules. Sharon's fingers graze her phone, Dr. Green's words, "You're enough," echoing like a distant drum. She sits taller, her face composed, but inside, a quiet storm rages. Exhaustion, defiance, a refusal to be erased. The clock ticks toward 11:30 a.m. The sterile buzz of the lobby fades to a dull hum as Sharon's eyes grow heavy. Her back still straight, but her body slackening. Exhaustion creeps in like fog. Her hand rests lightly on her leather portfolio, fingers twitching in a half-dream. She doesn't mean to drift off, but after nearly 5 hours of waiting, even dignity needs rest. Her head tilts slightly, cheek brushing the shoulder of her blazer. The harsh light from overhead makes her skin glow faintly against the cold gray upholstery. Her breathing steadies, the world blurring at the edges. Somewhere nearby, laughter erupts. Tracy again, loud and oblivious. But Sharon doesn't stir. For this brief moment, she escapes the weight of being overlooked. She sleeps, not in surrender, but in defiance, a brief refusal to carry their silence any longer. The glass doors burst open, and a wave of authority floods the lobby. 5 figures stride in, their tailored coats sweeping like capes, their presence bending the room's gravity. At their helm is Dr. Elaine Carter, CEO of Trionics Global, her silver hair catching the chandelier's light like a crown. Her eyes, sharp and warm, scan the space, commanding silence without a word. Tracy leaps to her feet, her magazine tumbling, her smile frantic. "Dr. Carter, welcome," she stammers, but Elaine's attention is elsewhere. Sharon freezes, her breath catching. She knows that face, Dr. Carter, the keynote speaker at last year's National Healthcare Summit, the woman who praised Sharon's presentation on equitable care. Before Sharon can move, Elaine's gaze locks onto her, a beacon cutting through the lobby's fog. "Sharon Harris?" Elaine calls, her voice clear, resonant, slicing through the hum of indifference. "I didn't know you were here today." The lobby stills as if the air itself holds its breath. Tracy's jaw drops, her acrylic nails frozen mid-tap. Amari's head snaps up, his eyes wide. Jessica Brandt, re-entering from a side door, stops dead, her flawless bun suddenly seeming too tight. Sharon rises, her movements deliberate, her portfolio tucked under her arm like a scepter. Her heels click across the marble, each step a reclaiming of space. The chandelier's light dances on her blazer, casting her as the center of this unexpected stage. Elaine steps forward, her smile genuine, her hand extended. "Everyone," she says, turning to her entourage, This is the woman whose summit. Presentation blew us away. Data-driven, visionary, exactly what Trionics needs. Sharon shakes Elaine's hand, her grip firm, her smile calm but radiant. "It's an honor, Dr. Carter," she says, her voice steady, a quiet thunder that fills the room. Jessica's face pales, her lips parting in a silent gasp. The swagger that defined her, her cold dismissal, her venomous words, crumbles like ash. She takes a step forward, then stops, her eyes darting between Sharon and Elaine. Tracy fumbles with a pen, her earlier smirk replaced by a flush of panic. The executives behind Elaine exchange glances, there murmurs a low hum of intrigue. Sharon stands taller, her scarf a vibrant slash against the lobby's gray. For the first time in hours, she's seen, not as a delivery driver, not as an inconvenience, but as Sharon Harris, a force. Elaine's eyes flicker with curiosity, sensing the tension. "Have you been waiting long?" she asks, her tone gentle but probing. Sharon's gaze meets hers, unflinching. "A little over an hour," she says evenly, her words carrying just enough weight to ripple through the room. Jessica flinches, her hands twisting at her sides. The lobby, once a cage, now feels like a theater, every eye on Sharon. Miguel, the security guard, pauses his cart in the corner, his nod subtle but proud. Amari's shoulders lift, as if Sharon's moment has loosened the weight on his own. Tracy's magazine lies forgotten, her desk a monument to her misjudgment. Jessica tries to speak, her voice a weak thread. I wasn't informed," she stammers, but no one listens. Elaine's focus is on Sharon, her presence a shield against the lobby's earlier slights. "Come with us," Elaine says, gesturing toward the elevators. "We've got a lot to discuss." Sharon nods, her poise unshaken, her steps confident as she aligns herself with Elaine's group. Jessica hovers awkwardly at the edge of the group, clutching a notepad she doesn't need. Elaine glances at her, then turns to one of the senior VPs. "We'll need a full audit of candidate scheduling," she says pointedly. "Jessica, I'll expect your written report by this afternoon." The words are neutral, but the undertone cuts deep. Accountability has arrived. Jessica nods stiffly, her earlier authority now reduced to clerical compliance. She steps back. As Sharon walks past, the shift in power unmistakable. Jessica stands frozen, her authority reduced to a flicker in the chandelier's glare. Sharon doesn't look back, but she feels the shift, the room, the rules, the power, all bending. In her favor, the storm inside her calms, replaced by a certainty. This is her moment, and she's ready to seize it. The lobby that once held her captive, once a cage of cold marble and colder stares, now pulses with a new energy, as if the air itself has shifted allegiance. Sharon Harris stands at the heart of this transformed arena, her navy blazer a banner, her crimson scarf aflame against the gray. Dr. Elaine Carter, CEO, stands beside her, her presence a fortress, her earlier recognition of Sharon, the woman whose summit presentation blew us away, still echoing like a gavel strike. The chandelier's light bathes Sharon, no longer fracturing but crowning her, as every eye in the room, executives, interns, passers-by, fixes on her. Jessica Brandt, the regional manager whose venom branded Sharon a delivery driver, stands frozen, her tailored suit now a brittle shell. Tracy, the receptionist, fumbles with a pen, her smirk erased, her desk a crumbling altar of misjudgment. The lobby is no longer a crucible. It's a courtroom, and Sharon holds the floor. Jessica steps forward, her face flushed, her voice too bright, too brittle. "Ms. Harris, I'm so sorry." She gushes, her words tumbling like a house of cards. "The system glitched, completely my fault. We had no idea you were waiting." Her eyes dart to Elaine, pleading for absolution, but the CEO's gaze is steady, unyielding. Sharon tilts her head, her expression a masterful blend of calm and steel. "2 hours waiting because of a system?" she says, her voice low, deliberate, each syllable a pebble rippling across the room. "Or because of the people running it?" The question lands like a thunderclap. its truth too sharp to dodge. Jessica's mouth opens, then closes, her hands twisting at her sides. Elaine's eyebrow arches, a silent signal that the excuse has been weighed and found wanting. The executives behind her murmur, their briefcases shifting like props in a play gone off script. Tracy shrinks behind her desk, her magazine long forgotten. Amari, the intern, stands straighter, his eyes gleaming with quiet pride, as if Sharon's words have unlocked something in him. Miguel, the security guard, pauses his cart, his nod subtle but fierce, a salute to the woman rewriting the room's rules. Sharon's portfolio tucked under her arm feels lighter now, not a burden, but a weapon forged by years of grit. Elaine gestures toward the elevators, her voice warm but commanding. Sharon, join us upstairs. We need your perspective on a leadership initiative. Sharon nods, her poise unshaken, her heels clicking with purpose as she moves toward the group. Jessica lunges forward, desperate to reclaim her footing. I'll get coffee, folders, anything you need, she stammers, her voice a fading echo of authority. Sharon doesn't glance back, her alignment with Elaine a silent dismissal that cuts deeper than words. In the executive boardroom, the air is different, lighter, alive with possibility. The glass walls frame Raleigh's skyline, a canvas of promise. Elaine slides a folder across the polished table, its pages thick with timelines, budgets, and ambition. We're launching a regional strategy initiative, she says, her eyes locked on Sharon. Your work on equitable healthcare makes you ideal to lead it. Sharon opens the folder, her fingers steady, her mind already mapping the path ahead. She asks sharp questions about scalability, community impact, data metrics, each one a spark that lights the room. The executives lean in, not out of courtesy, but out of respect. Across the hall, through the glass, Jessica hovers near her. Office, her face a mask of panic, her earlier swagger reduced to a shadow. She peers at the boardroom, trying to fathom how the woman she dismissed now commands the attention of Trionyx's elite. Sharon catches Jessica's glance, her gaze steady, unflinching. There's no anger in her eyes, only clarity, a quiet assertion of her worth. She turns back to Elaine, her focus unbroken. Elaine leans closer, her voice low but firm. We're also reviewing our hiring processes, she says. Your experience today, it's a gap we can't ignore. We'd value your input. Sharon nods, her lips curving into a faint, knowing smile. The weight of the lobby's slights, Tracy's indifference, Jessica's venom falls away, replaced by the certainty that she's not just in the room but shaping it. Jessica, left behind in the lobby, stands awkwardly under Tracy's nervous glance, the security guard's quiet scrutiny, and Amari's newfound boldness. The power she wielded so carelessly has slipped through her fingers, leaving her to face the silence she once imposed. The boardroom hums with ideas, Sharon's voice a steady current guiding the discussion. Elaine's hand rests on the folder, a gesture of trust. If anyone ever makes you feel less than you are, she says, you come to me. No intermediaries. Sharon's smile deepens, soft but resolute. I will, Dr. Carter, she says, her words a promise to herself as much as to Elaine. The lobby's wounds are still fresh, but they're no longer bleeding. Sharon Harris is no longer waiting. She's leading, and the room knows it. The Trionyx Global Tower looms over Raleigh's skyline, its glass facade no longer a barrier but a beacon. 1 week has passed since Sharon Harris turned a 2-hour wait into a reckoning, and now she stands at the head of a packed conference room, her white blouse crisp, her slate-gray skirt a quiet armor. The room hums with anticipation. Department heads, senior managers, new hires, all eyes on her, the new strategic lead. Her crimson scarf, a gift from her grandmother, catches the light, a vibrant thread tying her past to this moment. The wounds of the lobby, Jessica Brandt's venom, Tracy's indifference, have scarred but not broken her. Sharon clicks to the first slide of her presentation, her voice clear, resonant. Value doesn't come from others' approval, she says, but from how you walk into a room even when no one invites you. The room leans in, her words a spark igniting the air. The journey to this moment was no accident. Days after Sharon's boardroom triumph, an offer letter arrived, sealed with Trionyx's crest. The Regional Strategy Initiative wasn't just a project, it was a pipeline to real power, higher pay, and a chance to shape policies that could outlast her. She accepted, not for validation, but because she earned it. Every late night, every overlooked proposal, every silent slight she'd swallowed over the years. The lobby's crucible forged her, but it was her resilience, her refusal to shrink that carved her path. Dr. Elaine Carter's words, "Your ideal to lead," echo in her mind, a mantle she wears with quiet pride. Sharon's first act was to propose a review of Trionyx's hiring, a plan to root out the biases that left her waiting. The board listened, not out of courtesy, but because Sharon Harris commands attention. Across the hall, the whispers tell another story. Jessica Brandt's nameplate is gone from her office door, her suspension announced in a terse internal memo. HR launched a quiet internal review, while whispers of misconduct buzzed through the executive ranks, her once feared presence now a cautionary tale. An investigation into her discriminatory conduct, Sharon's weight was one of many complaints, has left her career in tatters. The break rooms buzz, elevators hum with sidelong glances, but no one says it aloud. Jessica's arrogance, her casual cruelty, caught up with her. Sharon doesn't gloat. She doesn't need to. Her focus is forward, her steps steady, her mother's mantra now a truth she lives. Be twice as good, baby, to get half as far. The lobby, once a battlefield, is now a memory she's rewriting, not with revenge, but with purpose. In her absence, HR quietly circulates new training policies. Her silence, once powerful, is now evidence. Sharon's meeting is a masterclass in leadership. She fields questions with precision, her data sharp, her vision sharper. A young analyst hesitates, then speaks. Sharon nods, amplifying his idea, ensuring every voice is heard. The room feels different, lighter, open, as if her presence has shifted its gravity. She's not just leading a project, she's changing the rules, proving that good ideas don't care who carries them. As the meeting ends, a senior manager lingers, his handshake firm. "You're exactly what we needed," he says. Sharon smiles, soft but sure. Her portfolio no longer a shield but a tool, its pages worn from use, not waiting. Later that evening, Sharon steps into the lobby, her heels clicking across the marble that once held her captive. The chandelier gleams, but its light feels warmer now, less like a spotlight and more like a welcome. Tracy, still at the desk, avoids her gaze, her nails silent. Amari, the intern, offers a shy nod, his shoulders straighter, as if Sharon's rise has lifted him too. Miguel, the security guard, tips his cap, his eyes bright with pride. Sharon's scarf brushes her neck, a reminder of the women who carried her here. Her grandmother, her mother, Dr. Green. She's not just surviving these rooms, she's reshaping them for those who follow. As she nears the glass doors, Sharon spots a young black woman standing by the desk, clutching a resume, her eyes darting with the same nervous hope Sharon once felt. The woman fidgets, her suit slightly too big, her presence shrinking under Tracy's indifferent stare. Sharon pauses, then turns back, her steps deliberate. She approaches, her smile warm, grounding. "Come on in," she says, her voice steady, like a hand extended across time. "They're waiting for you." The young woman's eyes widen, her posture lifting, her steps surer as she follows Sharon's lead. Sharon watches her go, knowing this moment will ripple through her, through Trionyx, through every room that tries to dim a light like hers. Sharon's story isn't about one day, one meeting, or one victory. It's about a promise she made. In that lobby, under the weight of silence and scorn, "I will not let them define my worth." Share this story, let it echo. Because when one woman rises, she lights the way for others. Hold fast. Your moment is coming. Sharon Harris's journey from a lobby's silent scorn to a boardroom spotlight reminds us that resilience can rewrite any story. Her triumph over prejudice isn't just hers. It's a spark for all who felt seen. What did her story stir in you? Drop a comment below, share your thoughts, your experiences, or where you're watching from. Your voice matters, and together we can amplify these truths. If this moved you, hit subscribe to catch our next tale of courage and change. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it, because stories like Sharon's don't just end, they ripple. Thank you for joining us, for feeling this with us. Your time, your heart means everything. We'll see you in the next video, ready to uncover more stories that light the way. Stay bold, stay true, and when your moment comes, walk in like you've always belonged.